evening, live from this news center of the Sultanate of Oman television. Here we present to you tonight's news bulletin. But first, the headlines. Yemen's warring parties agreed to create humanitarian corridors in the key port city of Hodeidah. The UK lawmakers are set to vote on Boris Johnson's Brexit bill. And Tokyo urges Tehran to stick to its commitments to the nuclear deal and ensures that it will work towards the stability in the Middle East. Good evening once again, and thank you for joining us. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. Yemen's warring parties have agreed to create humanitarian corridors in the key port city of Hodeidah. The town remains the main entry point for food and aid in a country witnessing the world's worst humanitarian crisis. The agreement follows 2 days of United Nations mediated talks between the Houthi rebels and the Saudi-led coalition. A coordinating committee sanctions by the world body said in a statement that both parties were working on redeploying forces to improve humanitarian access and enable movement of civilians. The port handles 70% of Yemen's food imports and aid. The United Nations envoy to Yemen, Martin Griffiths, was also in the rebel-held capital of Sana'a for meetings with Houthi officials on Monday. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson urged lawmakers today to back his Brexit bill to end the acrimony and anguish that has consumed the country since it voted in 2016 to leave the European Union. Johnson's withdrawal agreement bill is all but certain to be approved in principle later today by the country's new Conservative-dominated House of Commons. It will be a moment of triumph for Johnson, who won a commanding parliamentary majority in last week's general elections on a promise to end more than 3 years of political gridlock and lead Britain out of the European Union on January 31st. Opposition Labour Party lawmaker Hilary Benn said Johnson's bill was a gamble with the nation's economy. The UK's departure will open a new phase of Brexit as Britain and the European Union race to strike new relationships for trade, security and a host of other areas by the end of 2020. A Libyan force fighting to capture the country's capital from the United Nations-supported government based in Tripoli today gave the militias defending the city a 3-day deadline to pull out. The self-styled Libyan National Army LNA issued a statement demanding that the powerful Misrata militias, which are fighting on behalf of the government in the Libyan capital, withdrawal from both Tripoli and the coastal city of Sirte. The Misrata militias are named after the western Libyan town of Misrata, which saw some of the heaviest fighting during the 2011 uprising that led to the ouster and the killing of Muammar Gaddafi. The militias played a key role in Gaddafi's ouster. Last week, Commander Khalifa Hifter, who heads the LNA, declared that the 0 hour of the battle for Tripoli had begun nearly 8 months since he began his offensive to take the city. The announcement triggered a fresh bout of clashes around Tripoli. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe today asked Iranian President Hassan Rouhani to stick to commitments made in a landmark 2015 nuclear deal, adding that Japan would do what it can to ensure stability in the Middle East. At their meeting, which was held in Tokyo, Rouhani asked Abe to work with other countries to help keep the nuclear deal in place. Iran, the United States and other countries in 2015 signed the Joint Comprehensive Plan for Action, under which Tehran curbed its uranium enrichment capacity and won sanctions relief in return. President Donald Trump later withdrew the United States from the deal and increased sanctions on Iran to pressure its economy by ending its international sales of crude oil. Japan, a U.S. ally which maintains friendly ties with Iran, was a leading buyer of Iranian oil for decades before the U.S. laid sanctions. The U.S. House of Representatives yesterday backed a new trade agreement with neighboring Mexico and Canada in a 385 to 41 bipartisan vote, sending the NAFTA replacement measures to the Senate for consideration early in 2020. Democrats who control the House approved the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, USMCA, more than a year after President Donald Trump secured the deal with Mexico and Canada. Voting against the measures were 38 Democrats, 2 Republicans, and 1 independent. The USMCA trade pact, first agreed upon in September 2018, would replace the 1994 North American Free Trade Agreement. Trump vowed for years to quit or renegotiate NAFTA, which he blames for the loss of millions of U.S. factory jobs to low-wage Mexico. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman television, and later to come in our news bulletin, moderate to heavy rains fell in various wilayats in the Sultanate. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. The Oman oil price February delivery increased by 45 cents and amounted to $67.23 per barrel. The average price of Oman oil January delivery amounted to $62.81, increasing by $2.55 compared to the price of December delivery. The Ministry of Heritage and Culture organized a seminar on preserving Arabic language and its role in promoting identity. The seminar, which took place in the Governorate of Dhofar, discussed the characteristics of Arabic language, its origin, stages and methods of documentation, as well as the modern methods in teaching and learning the Arabic language. The seminar also highlighted the role of government and non-government organizations in promoting the Arabic language. The seminar coincided with the International Arabic Language Day on 18th of December. For the second consecutive year, the Sultanate's Embassy in France, in cooperation with the Senate of France, held the Omani Women Seminar. The seminar dwelt on a number of topics like sustainable development in Oman and the role of the Omani women in it. The seminar also highlighted gender equality in Oman and what has been achieved in this regard. A number of intellectuals, diplomats, university professors, media men, and politicians from France and other world countries took part in the seminar. The participants praised the developments being witnessed in the Sultanate in all aspects. The seminar also shed light on the achievements and the rights of the Omani women. Scout activities program in Governorate of North Sharqiya concluded. The program included awareness and cleaning campaigns in preparation for the coming tourism season. The concluding ceremony included honoring the winning scout teams and sketches on the values of good citizenship. The program aimed at instilling a passion for charitable works in the Omani young scouts and to make the community and the visiting tourist aware of the importance of keeping such places clean for others to use. A number of wilayats in the governorates of the Sultanate witnessed rains of various intensities. The wilayas of Sib, Boshar, Al-Amirat, Matrah in the governorate of Muscat, as well as the wilayats of Bidbid and Samail in Al-Dakhiliya governorate, and wilayats of Shinas, Liwa, Suhar, Saham, Al-Khabura, and Suwaiq in North Al-Batina governorate, and wilayats of Al-Awabi, Rustaq, Nakhal, and Wadi Al-Ma'awil in South Al-Batina governorate witnessed moderate to heavy rains which caused many wadis and tributaries to overflow. The Oman Oil OPEC group revealed their new identity, OQ, which is the result of an integration program that started in December 2018. More details in the following report by our colleague Saleh bin Khalfan al-Rahbi.
OQ is the new identity brand for Oman Oil and OPEC Group, which is the fruit of efforts that took a full year to merge 9 companies under one umbrella. The new identity embodies energy movement in colors, which reflects boldness and flexibility in a single entity that would build a better and more integrated future. The first letter of the new identity, O, is drawn from the name Oman, the history of key companies, and the promising opportunities that integration will provide in the energy sector. As for the second letter, Q, it expresses the appreciation of the company and its pride in the name of His Majesty Sultan Qaboos bin Saeed. May Allah bless him.
We're very proud today to launch our brand, OQ, to substitute the existing brands of OOC, ORPEC, OSEP, OGC, OXIA, and OTI, as well as SMC. The new brand represents a new beginning for our group. This will unite us all. O stands for Oman, stands for oil, stands for opportunities that we're going to pursue. Q stands for Qaboos, the name of His Majesty the Sultan of Oman, but also stands for questioning the status quo and the query for a brighter future. We're very proud of the new brand. We hope our customers will get familiar with the new brand. We hope our employees would love it and get attached to it. And this will be marking a new beginning for our group.
The company intends to invest $28 billion in a number of future development projects, of which $18 billion are allocated to projects for Duqm Refinery and Duqm Petrochemical Industries project. The company also aims to enter into new sectors such as alternative energy, gas resources management, and retail. Saleh bin Khalfan al-Rahbi, Sultanate of Oman Television, Muscat.
Thank you, Saleh. The Oman Motorbike Rally 2019, organized by Oman Riders Club, kicked off this morning. I was present at the event and I have prepared this report. It's early morning here in Muscat, where a group of riders fully equipped with their motorbikes, ready to ride around many parts of the Sultanate of Oman, the journey of which include on-road and off-road.
My name is Nasser from Oman Riders. We're here today to start a motorcycle tour to Jabal Hat, where we'll be crossing so many regions, and the tour is about 480 kilometers on-road and about 288 kilometers off-road. And we have bikers from like 17 different nationalities, people from GCC all over Oman. And tomorrow morning we'll be going to Nizwa, Manah, and then stop in Sema for lunch, where we got invited by the villagers there. Yes, it will be a bit challenging, but we are used because we do every year Salala and it's always wet there. The roads are wet, so we are careful, and we do a safety briefing before we start.
What we see here is Oman Motorbike Rally 2019, organized by Oman Riders Club. That is due to kick off this morning from Muscat, with 153 riders coming from 17 countries to participate in the two-day event, during which they will cover nearly 1,000 kilometers, much of it in rough terrain and unpaved roads.
My name is Ali Ferouz. We came all the way from Bahrain with two of my friends to participate with the Oman Riders on the tour. This is my, let's say, the 10th times. Every year we love to come to Oman, especially during the season, either December or January, and I guess it's the best place in the Gulf to see during December and January. Those beautiful places between the mountains and the greeny areas.
The rally track on this first day, that commenced from the club's headquarters through Muscat Express Road all the way up to Halban, where the riders diverted their route using internal road all the way up to Al Abyad, the resting point where they have been greeted by the villagers. After a short break, they continued their route all the way to Nakhal and stopped at Athawara Spring to enjoy the beauty and nature of the area. From there, they continued their journey for the day, passing through Rustaq to Al Huqin. The event is organized to promote tourism in the Sultanate, and it is also aims to spread awareness on proper riding of motorcycles. Indeed, Oman riders on their journey around Oman, beautiful Oman. Abdullah bin Ahmed Al-Rubai, Sultanate of Oman Television, Muscat. Yes, indeed, I was there. This is the Sultanate of Oman Television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. Yemen's warring parties agreed to create humanitarian corridors in the key port city of Hodeidah. The UK lawmakers are set to vote on Boris Johnson's Brexit bill. And Tokyo urges Tehran to stick to its commitments to the nuclear deal and ensures that it will work towards the stability in the Middle East. And with that, we do conclude this news bulletin brought to you live from this news center of the Sultanate of Oman Television. Thank you for joining us and good night.